Hi everyone, Blake Jones here. In this episode of How Do You Do That, we're going to show you the behind the scenes of a professional color grading. This is sort of like lifting up the curtain so you can actually see what's actually going on behind the scenes when we're creating a color grading for a project. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so what we're going to do now is have a look at the clips we have in this project. And as you can see, we've got various different lighting situations here. Now, what I usually do is first go through and just scroll through the individual clips or click on them and then see how they appear in the scope. So as you can see, they're almost all log mode. That's why the blacks are very high and the luminance is quite low there. So with that in mind, we're going to just treat everything. Some of these are not log files, they're just uncorrected. And so we have to go through and just deal with that accordingly. Now, some people, what they'll do is actually use a log to linear lookup table for these. I prefer not to do that. So what I would do first is, for example, in this shot, is I look at it, look at the scopes, and then the first thing I want to do is then come directly to my primaries, bring the lift down, correct the gain a bit, bring that up a bit here. Now what we want to do is actually change this from a log to linear correction. So basically what we're doing is we're taking the gamma curve and changing it from an arc to a linear curve. So to do that, just take your gamma control here and turn it to the left. And now that is effectively achieving this result of changing it from a log to a linear correction. Now we can just tweak it up a little bit and do something like this. So as you can see, I did all this in just one node. Now what happens is I want to come over here and just grab that as a still. And now what we can do is now move on to our next shots and see what we want. But since this one should be pretty close to this, let's try, and these two, for example, let's try and plug this correction in there and see how it does for us. So I can just move my mouse over to here, and by center clicking on it, automatically puts the correction into here. And the same goes for here. I can just center mouse click on it and it will plug that correction into this shot. Now for my taste, I think this is just a little bit too dark here, so I want to open it up just a little bit. But the actual correction is not too bad. And then the same goes for here as well. So what I do is I go through and just sort of get a mental memory for the color and the look that I want to achieve. So as you can see here, we've got these. Now what I want to do is let's come up to this shot here and try that grading in there as well. And this one is too dark here on this, so I'm going to lighten that up a bit and bring it up like so. So as you can see, we've already done these 4 shots and they look pretty acceptable there. So now I'm going to come over here and look at this one, try plugging this correction in there and see if it works for us. It doesn't, because it's a totally different situation. So I'm going to just regrade this completely, this shot. As you can see, it's clipped a bit in the camera, and I want to bring this down a bit, warm it up a little bit with the gamma, and open it up a bit like so. Now, the next thing I want to do is try maybe plugging this correction into the long shot of the car, which does a pretty good job for that. And then we just have to lighten that up a bit. And then we've got our evening shot here. So as you can see, we've got this. Let's try plugging the correction in there. And actually this correction does a pretty good job on this one. I just want to open up the lift area a little bit and bring this over. So as you can see, since I changed it from log to linear, I didn't change too much of the gamma settings in this part here. I basically was just changing the colorimetry in there. Okay, so now we've done these. Now we want to work on the guy coming into the building. And so first thing I want to do is do this one here. And I look at my scopes and see where I want to go. As you can see, the lift area is quite high. Gain is clipped out, so it's not really a log file. So I'm just going to bring it down just a little bit like so. Bring it up like there. And I probably want to give it a little more saturation. And bring it up like so. Now look at my lift area, and I've got the lift is a little bit off correction there, so I just want to balance those up a little bit. It's better. Okay. Now what I want to do is take the correction from here, move it to there, see if that gives me any assistance there. That works pretty good on this shot. Okay, I basically just want to, I'm clipping a little too much in the gain area. And then I want to bring the lift up just a little bit. Okay, that's looking good. I want to try plugging this correction into this shot. You take that. Now it's done a pretty good job. It's a little too warm for my taste here. And you can see that reflected here in the lift area. As you can see, the red is up, green is down a little bit, but the blue is way down. Let's bring that up like so. Then bring my gain up a little bit. Go to the gamma, change my correction to that. And that works well for me there. So now if I look at this, I can see here The only shots that look a little bit, this one looks a little bit cooler as opposed to the other ones, and also this one too. So this way now, everything pretty much has the same color balance across. And this one could use a little more saturation. And this one a little warmer. This is good. This could be a little darker, maybe. Okay, so now we're looking good. So now what I want to do is, in my project, when I save it, I want to have a gallery image reference for each shot here. So in order to do this, all we do is we come over here into the viewer area, right mouse click on here, and then we say grab all stills from middle frame. So now we have references here from every shot in the project now. Now, if I wanted to add windowing, or if I wanted to add vignettes and things like that, I could do it on top of that. But as you can see, the nodes are so powerful, you can basically do a very good correction with just one node. That's why I always try and tell people, don't overcorrect something. Just give it the correction you need. Don't try to make it brighter than it wants to be. You don't want to bring it up so bright that you'll see the grain structure starting to flare out and things like that. So this gives us a good basic correction that we have for our project, and now we're all set to go. So there we have it. For more information about training services, have a look in the comments below. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Also think about subscribing to our Patreon. There are a lot of great perks there. And also make sure and push that subscribe button so this way you can be alerted to all the new upcoming videos. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks a lot for watching.